I'm going to show you how to deconstruct a supplement, critically assess it, and discern whether it's worth spending your hard-earned cash on.
And then some people say that they don't really take supplements, but then they have a lot of supplements. Because they're like, oh, well, I wasn't thinking you were talking about like vitamins and minerals.
Do you guys think that because The Rock has his energy drink that people are more likely to trust that energy drink than like a Monster?
Fitness and health and fitness, that's not most of the population. Most of the population is just like chilling, living life. And when The Rock says this is good for you,
Okay.
The Rock said.
I think that we're in a day and age where the branding of stuff is a lot less important than you might think. I think it's convenience. Maybe they are going to hype the product up more than what it's worth. Just because Jesse James made 17K off of one post doesn't mean the product's bad.
What are you guys' thoughts on fat burners?
There's certain things that you can't really get that much help for. And burning fat is one of them. One of the other ones that's a huge one is pain. What you doing over there? Are you messing around with some grippy stuff?
Well, I bought this after you mentioned it, but I ended up spending $200 on this fucking Gripzilla tornado. I want better grip strength, dog.
Is that what a lot of, like, Andrew, in your experience, is that what people say about Nsima, that he really struggles with keeping a good grip on people?
Yeah. If anybody's been stuck in his De La Hiva, you'll know it just, you just a little tug on the gi sleeve and boom, it comes out.
You just move a little bit and his hands just can't. It's like slippery, like bar soap.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's cool that it's cool though. I've been really working on my grip incessantly. This thing's, it's interesting. Do I think it's the next thing you need to spend $200 something on? No, but if you got some money to spare and you want to buy it, buy it.
It's at least, I mean, it's made extremely well and it's fucking weighs a lot, but yeah. I
will say this, getting the threading thing on, like trying to screw that shit on was extremely frustrating. And there's some frustrating aspects to it, but I think when they do when they do like a V2 or whatever, but it's solid. It is a solid product.
You can stir it like you're stirring something,
Stir
or you
the
can
porridge.
go like, I think if you were like someone on a motorcycle or a
dirt bike,
I think it'd be amazing because they talk about how much they need grip for that. And you can go forward, backwards, and then you can loosen the thing way up and have a lot less tension. You can move your wrist this way on here, and you can arm wrestle it. That's what it's originally for.
Show them what you were doing in the office.
Oh, yeah, I was kind of going like this, and it gets really exciting. You kind of get it up here. You're gonna have a lot of fun. The next version, he said you're going to be able to slide up and down. I'm not sure what that feature's for, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I do dig it quite a bit. I mean, I've been using not just these ones that they sent, but for a while, like I've been using the ones from Captains of Crush, and dude, like my grip has. People have commented a lot about my grip. You know what I mean? So I'm literally, people are just gonna be seeing me on the podcast now. Like when we have a guest, I'll just be fucking.
Yeah, you feel that in your shoulders. You feel it kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it's cool though. It has solid build quality. So yeah, touch my shirt, Mark. I want you to see how soft it is.
It looks soft.
Soft, just
how soft.
Pull it. You see? Yeah, man. I don't.
Soft, silky, smooth, but hard underneath.
Yeah.
Very hard underneath.
It's another one from Viore. I don't know the name of this shirt from Viore, but it's a good one. It's one of their casualties.
And people that are wondering, no, you are not going to look as good as Nsima by trying it out. But it'll make you look better than you do currently.
At least you don't have like a fucking alien head. Have you noticed, like with my headphones, my head doesn't look like it ends. Like it looks like it just keeps going.
But aren't you like, don't you have it further back though?
I don't know.
No, I guess so. I see what you're saying.
The extra brain power in there.
Yeah.
Type in, you know, the alien from Alien? I think it's the alien from Alien, right?
Yes.
I have that head.
Can you use that to your advantage? Do you do that in jiu-jitsu? You like press it down on people?
Potentially.
Yes. I felt it.
You know what I'm talking about now. Yes, you see it. That's me, dog. That's my fucking head.
It's perfect because it's like, where does it end?
We have a thumbnail on the channel that looks just like that with my head. Oh, Lord.
Our dysmorphia. It's reaching new heights. And Nsima think he looks like an alien.
Oh, God.
What do we got? We got a video to watch, don't we?
Yeah.
from
supplements.
Mr. Eugene Teo. We had him on the podcast. He's an amazing creator, makes a lot of amazing content. Y'all should check out his channel if you haven't already. But he made a video on like judging supplements, you know? And we've been talking more and more about supplementation on the channel. We've had different people that have come on. We had Adam Hotchkiss, and he mentioned a few things that would be good. I bought some P5P recently because of it. But I think Eugene put out a really good piece of content on this, so we should talk about it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's see what we got.
Also, guys, comment below real quick. In terms of supplementation, what do you personally find useful? Because, I mean, a lot of people use so many different subs, but I don't know. As far as supplements are concerned, some people have the craziest stacks where they have like 30 pills a day and they think it makes a difference. Do you guys really think that supplements like that can make that much of a difference for you? So comment down below what you're using currently.
And then some people say that they don't really take supplements, but then they have a lot of supplements because they're like, oh, well, I wasn't thinking you were talking about like vitamins and minerals. And it's like, well, you know, people might be using vitamin D and vitamin C and all different kinds of stuff when you really break it down.
Yeah. All right.
Today I'm going to teach you a very important skill. How to tell if something is complete bullshit. When a new supplement or product enters the market, there are 3 core ways that you can get influence into purchasing it.
Ah, the king.
The king
First
of liver.
is marketing hype. This is where the brand strategically plans out content to build awareness. It often includes the use of influencers or affiliates and may include creating more scarcity through giveaways to create even more marketing hype.
Pass me
Next
the gorilla
is
mom
trust
over
in
there.
the brand or the specific authority figures associated with that brand. If I've spent a long time sharing good information with you, you're more likely to trust me.
Good
And the
taste in
stronger
the
that
product.
trust is, the more
Pause.
willing you are to put that trust in.
This has actually been on the desk for a few days. I think it's been on the desk over the weekend. Let's see.
They don't go bad.
It still holds a little bit of carbonation.
Yeah, there's some. I don't know what it is. If it's like the well, I don't know.
Well,
Actually,
the carbonation's gone, but it tastes good.
No, like most energy drinks are like good for like a long time. I don't know what it is.
A good sign or a bad sign?
I think it's great.
Shelf stable.
I think we're in the future where we don't have to worry about whether or not we drink our energy drinks fast enough.
Fair.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff when it comes to energy drinks. I think people just like the flavor of them too.
Oh yeah.
You
That's
know, and
true.
People do like to hit that caffeine button a lot too.
Yeah.
So there's caffeine, and a lot of times there's vitamins in there as well. But I think people just enjoy the taste of it, and a lot of them nowadays just have a lot less calories in them.
Yeah.
This Gorilla Mind stuff is good, but guys, be careful with it. Don't be drinking 3 of these things a day. As much as it's great, that's just a lot of caffeine and other stuff. It's meant as a pre-workout.
You don't want to take anything that's going to mess with your sleep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
To me blindly, for better or worse. We also place trust in celebrities and athlete endorsements, which is why influencer marketing is
Look
so
at them
powerful.
arms.
And finally, we have the actual research. Does the product contain the things that you want in the doses that you want, and does it fulfill a specific purpose for you? There's a clear overlap between all these factors, but today we're going to focus a little bit more on this one. I'm going to show you how to deconstruct a supplement, critically assess it, and discern whether it's worth spending your hard-earned cash on, or whether it's a complete
gonna
waste of
diss
time.
Jocko?
This is important because if you don't know how to do this, you expose yourself to being misled by
Nobody
bullshit
would do
marketing
such a
hype
thing.
and people who might use their perceived authority in one area, like having a jack shredded physique that's probably cheap through drugs, to sell you supplements or services that you don't need because they're making a ton of money from you by selling their bullshit.
There's a lot of sub-rivals that are convinced that Liver King is taking steroids. If you don't believe this is possible, then I suggest that you take that self-limiting belief, you put that shit in a fucking box, and you bury that next to all your embarrassing shit, and don't open your fucking mouth about it. Let that live with you.
Several months later.
I'm making this video to apologize. Yes.
I love this,
I've
how
done steroids.
jacked he is there.
Yes, I'm on steroids.
Or getting paid.
Pause. Y'all, it wasn't too long ago we were under fire for taking it. Everyone was like, you stupid fucks believed him. Oh, God, that was great.
But
Good times. Good times.
okay, let's see. On that note, do you guys think that because The Rock has his energy drink, that people are more likely to trust that energy drink than like a Monster in today's day and age?
Absolutely. I think so.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's the fucking Rock,
Yeah.
right? He endorses something. There's going to be, most people aren't deep into fitness and health and fitness. That's not most of the population. Most of the population is just like chilling, living life. And when The Rock says this is good for you,
Yeah.
what
Okay.
The Rock says.
The Rock says.
So first of all, I think Monster is huge. It's a huge company. They have so much distribution, right? I think that we're in a day and age where the branding of stuff is a lot less important than you might think. I think it's convenience. It's convenience, it's expense, and it's what the product does for you. So a Monster has a similar result every time you have one. It feels like it gives you a zip, right? It feels like it gives you a boost. You know what to expect taste wise. So from a branding perspective, they nailed that kind of over and over again. But I've been thinking about this a lot more recently is I think with social media and just a lot of the direction that a lot of things are going in, I don't think the branding is like the key ingredient anymore. I think it's like, what can this product do for me? Is it around a lot? You know, do I have easy convenience to it? Is it going to get to me kind of quickly? And what's it going to what's it going to do for me? Does it taste good? Like, I think energy drinks are like entertainment. Like, I'm kind of bored, I'm going to have an energy drink. Like, just pick up my day. My day is kind of like blah, energy drink, boom.
Okay. Yeah, because like, you know, no disrespect to like Zoa, but like I had it. It's fine. It's good. But like if I'm in a store and I'm going to purchase something, it's like, ooh, I'm going to go for that white monster because I enjoy it more. But I don't sit there and think like, oh, but The Rock doesn't drink this one or whatever, you know. So that's why I was just asking that.
I like The Rock better than the owner of Monster.
Yeah,
you know, you're not going to probably buy it just because of that, but maybe some young kids might be influenced in that direction.
Especially with because they just showed, sorry, is that Jake Paul or Logan Paul?
Yeah, Logan Paul and KSI.
So I can see something like that where somebody's been following them for a long time and they want to support their favorite, you know, creator or whatever it may be. So like that, I understand a little bit more than like a celebrity influence, or like they showed Thor Hemsworth.
Yep.
I don't know, like that wouldn't persuade me to go one way or the other, but like, I don't know, like if I enjoyed Gorilla Mind a lot, I'd be like, oh, that's Derek's company. Like I'll definitely opt for that. So,
and he's done a deep dive on his shit, right?
Yeah.
So you know, one interesting thing though too is like the Prime drinks, I've had them. And the funny thing about it is like the electrolyte thing, blending it isn't the greatest, but it does taste really good. You know, that is one thing that a lot of companies do try to lean towards, is like, because the first thing you're gonna get somebody is if it doesn't taste good, no one's gonna fucking buy it, even if the ingredients are great. But they kind of killed it with the taste of it, you know? So
you look at how big Gatorade got to be, right? Like, it's, you know, the Gatorade just got you believing that all the athletes took it. And then so you were like, well, if they're using it for their sport, like I'm just going to use it for mine. But Gatorade works. It's effective. Like, it has sugar in it, but carbohydrates help hydrate the muscles. They use sodium. Their original formula wasn't bad. Nsima just broke something.
It's okay. It's the grip thing that I just had.
Oh God, that's the second thing that
was like
today.
What the it's a heavy thing. It's not like a karate kick. But yeah, I mean, things like Gatorade, they can work. They can be beneficial. But yeah, did they like swindle a lot of people into buying a product for a price that probably isn't appropriate because it probably costs so cheap to make it? Yeah, probably. But that's the American way.
Also, I may be mistaken, but like, you know, maybe the Gatorade that was popular years ago, I remember drinking it when, you know, we'd be playing soccer and stuff, but there'd be carbohydrates in it. But if you looked at like the amount of electrolytes in it, there was not that much in terms of sodium, magnesium, potassium. And that's one thing that, like, I guess the market is more educated on, because even though Prime doesn't have the best electrolyte mix, is like they keep the calories low. And they do have sodium, magnesium, potassium in it, and it's more than the original Gatorade. So it's like the market is getting smarter of like, oh, it doesn't just taste like a sugary drink. There's something in it that's going to help me out.
Yeah, and Gatorade now has like an official like electrolyte square bottle drink.
It's like Gator Light, I think it's called. Yeah, I think it's called Gator Light.
They should have thought that one through a little bit longer.
They don't give a shit. You know, they're like, all right, people are trying to take some market share away from us. Like, put this out, and it just like they'll pump out some new thing. Gatorade Zero, all that stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Commission as an influencer.
What is the most you've ever made from a brand deal, a one-off?
My highest was like 17K. But I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not high enough.
$17,000 for a single post, which I'm sure has gone up since then and is only a fraction of what he really makes from long-term brand partnership deals and affiliates. This is not a dig at Jesse James West. He might not be your cup of tea, but I think he puts out entertaining content and seems like a great guy. I only picked him because he's one of very few who has been transparent about his earnings, which is a really important lesson for many of you who might not realize just how lucrative that side of the business can be. So here's how to take the power back and break things down logically to make them.
Pause for a second here. I guess that could be problematic, right? They are getting paid a lot of money to put out a post. So maybe they are going to hype the product up more than what it's worth. I don't really see a lot of influencers though, and I'm unfamiliar with, I haven't seen a lot of Jesse James stuff. I haven't really seen too many influencers. I mean, we saw what Liver King did but it's rare for someone to be like, take this, this is what you're going to look like. I don't really see a lot of guys doing that. I do understand that a lot of people would associate the creatine back in the day with the bodybuilder that was put in front of them. But even back then, I don't really know if the guys were like, this is all I use. You know, I don't, to me, it doesn't seem as deceiving as everybody else in the fitness industry seems to make it out to be, but maybe that's because I sell supplements.
I see a lot of posts still. And the thing is like, most people aren't like, yeah, take this to look like me, but they're, you know, they'll do their workout, then they'll be like, no, I'm mixing up my drink. Tasty. And I mean, it is a direct advertisement for the product, which isn't bad, but it's some people do make it sound like this is the main thing that's currently helping me out, even though it's a part of the equation. Like protein shakes are definitely fucking useful. We just talked about that on a prior podcast. All these things are useful, but when marketing it, it's like it's these products are shown to do more than they actually do, right? But we do know how how useful these things can be. But I think it's just it's tough. It's tough because like you know that the biggest things are your nutrition, your sleep. That's why kind of all the companies that we personally do work with are things that aren't really that hard to sell,
right? Because you know, there's a mattress that actually is going to be beneficial to your sleep. There's fucking shoes. We do use supplements, but like the supplements are bare bones. There's nothing crazy about, no crazy claims. But there still is some weird marketing out there, you know, and people will fall for it. Do you guys think it's like up to the influencer to like announce that they're like with a company or not with a company? I always find it interesting. Like I have caught myself doing that before. And I'm like, it's really no one else's fucking business if I'm with a company or not with a company.
When you say with, what do you mean?
Like getting money from them. I'd rather tell people I'm getting money from a company rather than telling people that I'm not, you know, because that seems more shady to me. Like I'm not getting money from this grip company right here that I'm promoting.
And we're actually not though.
Right. But no one has any way to reference any of that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm like, hey, I'm excited to announce that this grip company is like part of our podcast, I'd rather tell you that I am making money off of it and tell you that this is a flat out sale. This is a great product. This is what can it do for you. This is how I discovered it. You guys already know I've been in the fitness industry forever. I examine all, you know, as many products as I can get my hands on. And this is one that I think will fit you. Like I'd rather kind of tell people potentially when there is an exchange of money saying like somebody paid me to like kind of get this spot. But it's interesting too. I think a lot of times we feel the need to be like, I'm not even getting money for this Garmin watch that I'm wearing, but I'm going to tell you about it or a ring or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I know for like, I think like an Amazon review, like if the company sends you an item for free, you have to mention that in your review. Like I got this to review. Here's my review or whatever the heck they say. And I thought for a while that's what you had to do on like social media, except no one's policing it. Like nobody's actually checking to see if like, oh, did they give you money for it or whatever? And then at one point I remember people were like hashtagging ad on like a Nike picture. It's like Nike's not actually paying you. Like you're just trying to front and act like you are somebody important. But yeah, I don't know. I would obviously, I would definitely like if people were more transparent about it. I don't know. It's hard.
It's hard to know, right?
It's hard
if
to
somebody
know.
has a code, you know. Like if somebody's like, use my code, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, and most people when they're talking about a product, they usually have a code attached. So like they're not explicitly saying I'm getting paid for this, but if there's a code attached, then the person that's talking about it is going to be getting a cut.
Yeah, it'd be cool to talk to somebody that's hasn't been like in the fitness realm for a long time. Just be like, do you understand if they have a code that they're probably getting paid? Like, I'm curious because we understand that, but I wonder if somebody, you know, like the everyday consumer doesn't automatically know that.
And does that change your mind and why?
Yeah.
It's interesting too. Like, does it change your mind? Like just because Jesse James made $17K off of one post doesn't mean the product's bad. The product could be awesome. It could be great that they have $17K to spend on that.
Yeah. And this is the thing about this. It's like, if you're someone who is trying to promote things, that's why you kind of need to be careful about what you work with. Because I do know people that are just like worked with brand after brand after brand, just switching. And then after a point, you just realize, oh, you don't really necessarily care about like what it is. You just kind of care about getting paid, which is fair. Everyone needs to make their money, but it's like you need to be cognizant of exactly what you're working with, because people will use it. And you want, if you're saying somebody fucking sleep on this mattress, you want them to get the results you're talking about. Or if they don't, you are no longer trustworthy. And that's a big deal if you're someone who's trying to help people better their lives and their fitness. It's a big deal.
Yeah. I said no to a knife company recently that I was still kind of thinking about, because it was like a sick-ass designer knife. And I'm like, oh, that would be sick. But then, you know, of course, they always, the way, and I said this to a pants company too recently, and the way they word it, they were like, hey, this is free. All you have to do is just post on social media about how much you love the product. And I'm like, well, what if I don't love it? Like, what if I kind of just like it, or if it's like, meh, like now I'm already on the hook because you sent me something and now you expect something in return. So yeah, it's always kind of weird, but I don't know, dude, that knife one's going to sit with me for a while because it looks sick.
I think this is also why it's like, it's super necessary. It's kind of like look up reviews on things. Like we may be talking about like Vivo or fucking just any of the stuff that we've talked about here, but then go and look up people's experiences. Just go YouTube stuff. Because we don't just work with anybody, and it's cool if you trust us, but then if you just go and look stuff up, you'll see, okay, it is legit, right? Or maybe we're bullshitting you and making money on the other end. No, we're not doing that. But yeah, do your research.
There you go.
Most informed decision possible on where to spend your hard-earned money. Before we go any further, it's worth mentioning that this is not a sponsored video. It's not an ad. I never accept any paid endorsements, no matter how profitable they can be. My channel will always be about sharing information with as little bias as possible. Step 1 is find the ingredient list. Now, Derek's new product is extremely transparent, which is already a huge thumbs up. And he's even gone a step further and just released a video going through a full dissection and analysis of every single ingredient, the research, and his reasonings for putting it in. I love that, because even if he was wrong about something, he's putting himself out there to be open, honest, and not intentionally mislead anyone. So we're going to go through this, and I'll give you my thoughts on it and whether I recommend it or not in a sec. But first, contrast that with one of Australia's most popular fat-burning pre-workouts, OxyShred, where there is no detailed ingredient list. That is a dead giveaway.
Pause this real quick. Yo, okay, what are your guys' thoughts on fat burners? I still get surprised about how many messages I get from people about like, oh, what fat burners do you use? I remember when I was a teenager, in my early 20s, shit, I was like, well, what's the best fat burner, this and that? But you find out kind of like, they're not really, right? Like, what do you guys think about them?
There's certain things that you can't really get that much help for. And burning fat is one of them. One of the other ones that's a huge one is pain. You can't have you can't even go to the doctor and have them tell you what kind of pain you're experiencing. Like they can use every form of technology possible to try to figure it out. X-ray, MRI, everything. And I think fat burning is similar. There are things that you can probably take that might encourage your body to like liberate a little bit more fat. It might be encouraging to be in a caloric deficit while you're taking a fat burner. So therefore it might be effective, but it's not the fat burner that's really doing much.
It's Ozempic.
Yeah, it's a fact that you're on like a plan. You're on a diet. But yeah, in my experience, I haven't really ever seen anyone, you know, again, I've said this many times when it comes to a supplement, it's not like, oh my God, you see so-and-so. Oh yeah, they're on that new fat burner. You know, like, holy shit, like Nsima's always in great shape, but he's fucking diced, man. It's insane. He looks stage ready. I don't know what's going on. He's going to compete in the Olympia.
On that OxyShred, baby.
He's on fucking OxyShred. And it's just working perfectly. So
that shit is deceiving as fuck, though, because you do see some people who are like, when they get lean, they're like, I'm taking this fat burner. And if you're in the know, you're like, bitch, you fucking lying fuck. Like, you know it's not that fucking pill you're taking right now.
Yeah. I know like a lot of them will have like yohimbine or
yohimbine. Ooh.
You know that, and then like I believe black pepper extract or something like that. And those are, I believe they actually do like raise your body temperature and you might start sweating.
Yohimbine did that to me.
So, but I don't, does that mean it's a good thing? You know, like when we're on the mats and I'm drenched in sweat, I've never done anything quite like that before and I'm sweating a lot. But like if I take something that makes me sweat a lot more, you know, is it burning fat or is it just like kind of depleting whatever hydration I have in my body, therefore making me lose weight? So in that aspect, they do that, but I don't know if they work to burn fat.
Yeah, whatever the case is, it's not going to be anything that's going to be really super effective in burning fat. Yeah. So Does it maybe raise your temperature up a little bit? Could it maybe help somebody lose just like a tiniest amount of fat if you utilized it for like a year straight or something? Maybe, but it'd be so minimal and so minuscule. We know what the truth is. The truth is you have to have your habits connected. Otherwise, you can't lose that body fat.
Power Project family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we've partnered with certified Piedmontese beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But certified Piedmontese is made in the US of A.
America.
America. Fuck yeah. So go out and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah. Something like Yohimbe could move the needle a little bit, but like this is something kind of interesting to think about here, long-term versus short-term. Let's think about something like electrolytes, right? When most people exercise, a lot of people are dehydrated, and that causes them to not be able to put in as much work, move as much volume, exercise for as long of a time with higher intensity, right? Which, if you add that in over a week and months being dehydrated because of lack of electrolytes, they won't burn as much fat as the person who has, like, let's say creatine and they're using electrolytes. So they're hydrated, and over time their workouts are more effective. Right. They will burn more fat. But those things aren't marketed as fat burners. They're marketed as hydration products and creatine to help you perform better in the gym. But those products right there will help you burn more fat than the specific fat burning product of OxyShred or Yohimbe or whatever, right? And those are cheaper.
Wouldn't surprise me if like some of the top selling supplements are things that help you manage your testosterone levels, like some of those Frank Thomas commercials. Multivitamins still kill.
You got to pull that motherfucker up.
Multivitamins still just dominate the market, and they've been huge forever. And I think there's other things that have started to replace that with more natural means. Like I think like athletic greens, I think is when you're talking about like B vitamins and C vitamins and all these different vitamins, I'm not really sure exactly where they come from. When they come from other sources and they're put into like a capsule or pill form. But you know, when you have something like athletic greens, at least it's like chopped up greens that you're getting some of these nutrients from. So the supplement industry is kind of riddled with you know, being like stuck in the past. I don't even know if that's wise to take a multivitamin, just a general basic multivitamin. I kind of think that I think they're kind of dangerous personally, but I don't have any proof on anything like that. But I don't think they're a great option. They make you just pee weird colors. Dude. They give you a lot of maybe stuff that you don't need.
This is something that I found pretty interesting so I've been using the athletic greens for a bit. I mentioned that. And I used to take a multi. Every time I take multis, like first off, when I pee a little bit later, mad yellow, kind of stinky. That's something that kind of always, for me, always happens with multis, right?
May not be bad, but it doesn't seem like it's good.
It's never a great experience. But the athletic greens or whatever never had any of those weird peeing things. You know what I mean? Like there's no crazy color.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because athletic greens is essentially a multivitamin that also has greens and stuff in there that you typically don't get in your diet. So I wonder, is it because it's blended in that, and this is all of that in one pill? I don't fucking know, but that's an interesting little
Might
difference.
be more bioavailable, or maybe there's an argument. I have no idea, but like maybe what they stick inside of a multivitamin is just so high concentrate that your body can't really assimilate it. I mean, think about normally when you're going to eat something.
Yeah.
How much nutrients would you really pull from it? You know, just think about magnesium. You know, somebody takes a magnesium supplement. Where would your magnesium normally come from? Normally come from like nuts or something. Imagine like trying to break open a bunch of nuts. It takes you forever. You might eat a small handful of it, and then the nuts are like in nature scientifically combined with other things that will help you absorb all the nutrients. Like when you eat a piece of fruit, for example, it has potassium in it, which helps with your blood sugar regulation. It has fiber in it, which also helps with your blood sugar regulation. So you're getting sugar, which people are like, oh my God, you're getting sugar. But you're getting sugar with cofactors in it that actually assist your blood sugar. So when you get things in nature, or even when you kind of blend them up and do things like that, you're still at a much more natty state than you might be otherwise. And when it comes to a fat burner, I just don't really think it's going to be something that really moves the needle for people. I don't think they should waste their money on them.
Don't. Honestly, don't.
Hopefully you get a refund.
Probably full of shit. Sorry guys, I guess I probably won't be accepting that partnership. Yes, it's got a whole bunch of active ingredients in it, but because they don't disclose the exact doses, they could have just put the most infinitesimal inactive amount that confers no benefits in it and still label it and use it in their marketing. So EHP Labs is asking me to trust that they, the company who stands to benefit financially from misleading me, won't use lower doses or cheaper products to cut their costs.
Do you guys remember Shreds?
Oh, yeah.
You met like 2016, 2015.
Remember Shred XT?
Nah, Shreds. I remember there's Paige Hathaway, I think was her name. She was one of the Shreds athletes. Shreds had the fat burners. That's when, like, because supplement marketing on social media was kind of new, since Instagram was kind of new, it was just abhorrent. Like, it was like, yeah, this to burn fat, and people were all over that shit. But
I do think like a ephedrine, which is like not a product you could really get anymore unless you have
good old ECA stack
asthma, right? And then there's yohimbine, which seems to have tiny bit of merit. We know the impact of carnitine, but you can't really consume enough carnitine via supplementation.
Got to inject that motherfucker.
You got to inject it.
It burns.
And then there's there's some peptides and there's some hormones that seem to have some beneficial effects in terms of like burning fat. But again, nothing really happens losing fat wise unless you start to have some habits. And there are things like Ozempic, and we're seeing some discoveries that seem like they have some benefit, but for every reward, there's always risk on the back end of that. But I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible that there are starting to be solutions for people that have really struggled with their weight for a long time. People that are backed up against the wall, I don't think they have a lot of choices. And I think that looking into something like that might be a good choice.
You talking about like Ozempic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, be careful with something like that, because there might be some of you guys who like are seeing a lot of people are hopping on Ozempic and that stuff. Just be careful.
Yeah, we're seeing people starting to lose a little bit more muscle mass than they originally thought, and things like that. So there's risk to reward to everything.
So what he's talking about here is proprietary blends. And maybe I'm just, I believe people are too good for this sort of thing, but like it's mind blowing to me that a company would go through all this trouble, like marketing. I don't know exactly what it takes to put out a supplement for the entire world to buy, but to make a very ineffective supplement that is being sold based off of complete hype. Like, to me, that sounds crazy, but I understand it. It obviously happens, but like, I guess why do all that knowing that it's not going to work?
There's a lot of reasons.
Please explain.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, you're pretty keen on like nootropics, and you studied them a bunch and made some yourself and things like that. If you came to me and you're all pumped and you're like, I want ashwagandha and I want this, I researched this and that and these different things. I would then, if I'm a manufacturer, I would say, Andrew, that's amazing. That's great that you want to do that. Here's come an issue. The type of alpha GPC that you're looking for, we can get it, but we don't know for how long. Like, it'll be available through 2023, but come 2024, like it's going to be scarce because maybe some of the other bigger companies are buying it or have deals or whatever. I don't know, the other ingredients that you were looking for, kind of same thing. Like, it's hard to source these. We're looking for sources, and they might call you back, and I might call you back and say, hey, I found some of what you were looking for, but then it turns out, the original thing that has a gram of alpha GPC now has 500 milligrams. Now it's cut as well, as they're going to explain. I think it's explained in this video. It just keeps kind of snowballing, and you're like, my product isn't really the same anymore. And that's what happens. And when you put something you go to put something in a capsule, it's like, how much shit can you stock up in a capsule. And now I got to tell people to take 6 capsules. It's like I just lost half my, even the people that are going to buy it, they're not going to use it continuously if they got to take fucking 6 of them.
That is a barrier.
And then you're like, well, maybe I can, you're like, shit, maybe I can make it a powder. And then I tell you, well, Andrew, interesting thing about like alpha GPC and caffeine and these different things you want to use, they all taste fucking horrific. And it doesn't matter what we try to do to it, we can't mask it. And now you're like, fuck. And so you have to make some bastardized version of exactly what it was that you wanted to make in the first place.
Oof. Damn.
But that's also kind of why, like, when it comes to things that have a proprietary blend, I usually just stay the fuck away from them. I mean, I saw that in a video years ago. I was just like, let me just stick to
bigger,
things.
stronger, faster.
Like, oh, you guys mentioned that in bigger, stronger, faster? There we go. I usually just stick with things that have the ingredients on the label so I know exactly what I'm taking in. Even though maybe sometimes people can lie about that, but it's much harder to. I mean, coming from you make supplements, it's much harder to lie about that.
What if, start out there, like let's say Steak Shake actually, like it can do something pretty crazy. I don't know what, like insert whatever crazy thing can happen from taking a protein supplement. You gain muscle faster than a whey protein. And you just don't want anybody to know what your secret blend of ingredients is, because then they're all going to start copying you. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are getting ready to launch their meat-based, complex protein shake based off of Steak Shake.
You got to try to protect it or whatever.
So, like, yeah, is there any merit to like being like, no, it's not that we're lying about what's in it. It's just we want to protect our secret ingredients.
There are probably people that do that. There are people that probably, choose to just put proprietary blend. So it's kind of on there as one like hodgepodge thing that you can't really tell exactly what's in there.
But most of the time, I mean, I'm just curious, but most of the time, like when people do that, it's not for, it could be, but it's usually not for that reason, right? It's usually so like.
I'm not qualified enough to really say that for sure. Like,
all right.
I have somebody that I go through all this with back and forth, and he's like, "No, you can't do that." He's like, "Yeah, you can do that." No, you can't do that. You know, and they go back and forth with you, and even something as simple as like adding caffeine to something. I'm like, I would love to be able to tell people that this product has like the equivalent of like a cup of coffee in terms of caffeine, or half a cup of coffee, or he's like, yeah, you can't. I'm like, I see other people. He's like,
is it like you can't make that claim? Or
yeah, you can't. So there's certain things that you can make whatever claims you want. You can kind of do whatever you want. But the second that you start making money, then you start to get on people's radar. And then you're going to get submarined by another supplement company. They're be like, yo, so-and-so, look at what he's doing. I think that's illegal. And they'll look at your package and they'll be like, oh, yeah, that is, not. Because they are regulated. They're regulated a lot more than you would think. And I think that people are hoping like that the FDA comes in and does something, but the Food and Drug Administration kills a lot of people as well. I mean, with the different drugs that get passed through the pharmaceutical companies and things like that, they're not always safe. They try to test them the best they can, but they don't really know. I don't think it'd be helpful.
Costs and instead invest all their time and effort into marketing hype and scientific reference dumps. For all we know, it could be a legit product using fantastic evidence-based doses. I really hope it is, but it's just as likely that it's complete bullshit. So anytime that you see proprietary blends or undisclosed doses of ingredients, run the other way. Here's something you might not realize. A lot of supplement companies will pick their ingredients based on what's trending on Google, and not because there's a ton of research supporting their use in humans. Things like Garcinia cambogia and raspberry ketones used to be super popular, not because of all their beneficial effects and research, but because they were featured on Dr. Oz. Another example is Logan Paul's Prime Hydration formula. It can be marketed as an electrolyte formula, and he bangs on about how it has more electrolytes and less sugar than his competitors, and how it doesn't really taste salty compared to his competitors. But that's because he only uses about 3% of the amount of sodium that they do, which makes no sense because sodium is the main ingredient you want in an electrolyte formula for it to work well. But that doesn't matter because he just wants to sell you shit. Assuming we have the ingredient list and doses, we can go through and fact check them. Do they A, have a clear mechanism of action how they're meant to work in your body? B, do they have any supporting research supporting their effectiveness in humans? And C, are they they used in the correct doses that are supported by the research? And this is where it can get a little bit nerdy and technical, so pay attention now while I show you what I personally do. The first place I go to is examine.com. Again, I'm not sponsored whatsoever. Gorilla Mind has the following ingredients, and if we search them, we can very quickly find how the compound works, what some of the pros doses are, and the research supporting it on examine.com. Alpha GPC has a lot of data on it that we can nerd out on for your heart's content. But we can't just take the fact that research exists on the topic to mean that it's good. There's differences in validity and generalization to the wider population of the findings of different studies. And most importantly, there's differences in dosages. Now, Derek captured a good amount of research, but not all of it. And out of all the research he did provide, if you look at the actual referenced papers, the vast majority were using significantly higher doses than what's in his product. There were a couple of studies that did use a lower dose and saw some benefits at around 200, 250 milligrams, although they did also state that higher doses are more likely to yield the beneficial effects. And this is why it's so important to not take the studies.
But, you know, the funny thing is okay, so the guys and girls who are buying that Gorilla Mind energy drink are not just drinking one a day. That's the thing. I mean, maybe, I don't think that was maybe the reason, maybe it was, but like we know guys who are drinking 3 of these a day, 2 to 3 of these a day. So it's just like, imagine if they were drinking 2 or 3 of these a day with higher dosages already, right? That would be wild. Like you do, like I don't think that maybe that's what Derek was thinking about, but it's just like if you put the bigger dose of everything, you still have guys like we know who are drinking 2 of those, 2 or 3 of those a day. Then now you have a safety issue because motherfuckers gonna have heart attacks.
Yeah, yeah. He could have probably put less caffeine and then kept everything else the same. I don't know. I mean, what the hell do I know? But yeah, I get what you're saying though. But I don't think doubling the alpha GPC would hurt at all. It could be fine. I'll have to look at the other ingredients, but it's just the caffeine for sure.
It's tough because like his product's going to be more like direct to consumer in the beginning rather than being something that's in a store. Being direct to consumer, you're like, when somebody orders 12 of these, because the shipping, I don't have any idea how much this product costs, but like the shipping can be expensive. That's where you incur a lot of your costs, both the consumer and the person selling the product. You get screwed by that because it gets shipped around a couple times. And then so somebody spends, I don't know, $5 per can or something like that, or $4.90 or something. And they want that to have, like when you drink it on your way to the gym, you want to feel, especially because people have already had the scoop of Gorilla Mind. So now if someone had the scoop or 2 of Gorilla Mind and they have the ready to drink and the ready to drink doesn't match up, they're going to be like, fuck, man, this is not as strong as the other product. So it really depends on your, if you're direct to consumer, you could sell it with less caffeine, but they already put out a product that, you know what I'm saying? They already put out a product that's working well for people, and they don't want to have people have it feel like it's working less. The fasting gum that I put out a while back, it only has 25 milligrams of caffeine per thing, because I was like, people probably chew on a couple of these if they're trying to fast for many hours, not just going to chew on one. Yeah. So I'm like, that was in consideration, and even the dosage of the other stuff. But again, you run into a lot of issues. Like, oh, I'd love to use like 700 milligrams, like apigenin or something, but good luck trying to stick that into a stick of gum.
Yeah. Let's think about like the monsters, just normal monsters. How many monsters most people drink a day? Like most people I know who like Monster will drink 3 monsters a day. And it's like that, like, that's probably why there's only 150 milligrams of caffeine in there. Because if there was 300 per, right, that's 900 milligrams of caffeine, right? So,
yeah. Do you guys remember, like, because I haven't, I don't think I've really ever taken pre-workout on a regular basis, but like, are pre-workouts and energy drinks starting to contain more or less caffeine than they did, I don't know, like 10 years ago, if you guys can remember?
Dude, you'd have to pull up a fucking Gorilla Mind or one of those pre-workout things, because it's been years since I've touched pre-workout.
I haven't used pre-workout a lot, but I think it's all over the map. I'm seeing that's why something like Fit Aid fits in there really nicely, because it's got like, what, 125 or something like that?
90 milligrams of caffeine.
90 milligrams of caffeine. There's a lot of companies that are recognizing, like, man, not everybody wants to have their face lit on fire the second that they, touch one of these products. So I think you'll see more and more room for the more mild I mean, there's so many soft drinks nowadays, the more mild caffeine, and also the artificial sweeteners and stuff, which again, I'm not against. I actually dig them. I think they're fine, but some people are conscious of that. So people are trying to pull back on their caffeine consumption, and people are trying to pull back on the artificial flavors that they have and sweeteners.
Okay. I'm curious, kind of, what do you guys think about pre-workouts? Are you guys like, fucking, do you need your pre-workout? Do you love your pre-workout? Or is it kind of just a hit or miss thing for you? And there are a lot of companies that make the non-stim pre-workouts, right? So pre-workouts that don't have caffeine, there are those too.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, by the time my son starts, hitting the gym, if like pre-workouts will be like 1,000 milligrams, just to fucking get the day started.
I the odd thing is I doubt that, just because TikTok exists. Because like, you see kids for now, you see younger guys like just doing 3-4 scoops, and if a company puts too much caffeine and a dumbass puts 4 scoops, then the product killed the kid. Companies still want to be able to live, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to hurt anybody.
Right now, I know you're looking in the mirror. You're getting ready for your nephew's quinceañera. You have a long sleeve on that looks horrible, and your pants don't fit right. That's why we partnered. I don't know why you're laughing. That's why we've partnered with Viore Clothing. You see, this is the Boulevard shirt jacket. Fits great, stretchy, feels amazing. It's the best long sleeve in my closet. And one of the biggest things that we love about Viore is that they have clothes that you can wear to parties. They have clothes that you can wear in the gym. Like I said, your nephew's quinceañera. You can look great wherever you go if you step your fashion game up. Plus, this stuff feels like baby skin on your skin, which is kind of creepy, but at the same time, it's kind of nice, and you know it. Andrew, where can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to viore.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project to automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. Fucking hell.
It's an amazing
on
video,
face
by the
value,
way.
or to blindly trust what I or Derek or anyone else tells you, and instead go a little bit deeper into what the research is actually saying. Something else to keep in mind is Gorilla Mind uses alpha GPC 50%, which is where they take the alpha GPC and they cut it with 50% filler. It sounds shady, but this is completely fine. It's done because alpha GPC in its purest form is really hard to work with and less stable, as it draws in moisture really easily. So cutting it helps to avoid this. But that means that the dose here of 400 milligrams is actually 200 milligrams, unless they mean that they've put in 800 milligrams to yield 400 milligrams of active ingredients. I don't know, and I could be wrong on that. So if I am, I do apologize. So does this mean Derek is full of shit and underdosing his products?
Yes.
Absolutely not. The dose he uses is lower, but it's not so low that it's completely ineffective. And while you're probably not going to want to dose this exact product 3 times a day, this absolutely could make up part of a larger supplement stack where you enjoy a beverage in the morning with the other ingredients coming along for a ride, and you take some alpha GPC in isolation later in the day if that's what you want.
Okay, pause. What do you guys like? Do you guys have a pre-workout stack or something, things that you just make sure are in your system before you do a workout of the day? Well, like, what do you guys?
Normally, I just wake up and have some coffee. I make a steak shake, iced coffee, and then I come to the gym, and I always like to, not always, but more recently, I like to give myself 10, 15 minutes, like if I give myself 10 or 15 minutes of movement, then do I still need to take kratom? Do I still need to take an energy drink? Usually 10, 15 minutes into some movement, I'm like, I feel amazing. I feel incredible. I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of caffeine, about 100 milligrams of caffeine, liquid form. And then, that and some electrolytes. So I take like a pretty big, like the biggest shaker cup I could find, and I just fill that completely up with water because I'm about ready to go sweat a whole bunch. Right as I'm heading out the door, I'll take a shot of just raw honey. And then in my intro workout, I've been using First Detachment's intro workout. We just had Justin Harris on the podcast recently, and because I was feeling kind of like, so I do open mat and then I do class. And when I start doing class, sometimes I'm kind of like zoning out, like I'm not able to like be present. So I'm like, Mark, I think I need like some kind of intra workout or some like liquid carbs or something. And that has a little bit. So I've been using that like in conjunction with electrolytes, and that's been feeling good. But as far as like a pre-workout, like, no, I haven't touched an actual pre-workout like ever.
I like where your mind's at. Like you're thinking like nutrients, macro and micronutrients. I think that makes a lot of sense rather than just trying to draw upon something to light you up.
Yeah.
Which I still think can be effective, but used so sparingly.
Yeah, in the mornings, like now the athletic green things has been pretty consistent, but I don't think like that's like something that gets me hyped. It's just something that's part of the routine. I'll have creatine in the morning. I'll have a whole thing of electrolytes in the morning. I've actually been doing a half calf coffee or sometimes just decaf coffee too, so that I'm not doing high caffeine every single day. But you know, the thing is like the creatine, the electrolytes, those things get my body ready kind of for like being able to perform, whether it's jujitsu or in the gym, because now I'm hydrated and ready to go. But I don't take anything like right before I work out anymore. Some days, like, you know, Jake Benson has helped us, you know, start using the injectable L-carnitine. So I'll use that some days, but I've only been using that maybe twice a week. It's been a little bit more than a week since I've used it, since I haven't had any crazy sessions that I felt I needed it for.
Injectable L-carnitine? What is that?
Injectable. Shut up, Mark. Shut up. You know what
That's what it feels like, all right?
Injectable L-carnitine. You want to pull up that video real quick? I think that's
which one.
Mark posted it on his page. If you go to Mark's page, I think it's actually kind of funny.
This guy found out the truth about Nsima.
Oh my!
At least he made it sound like it.
We already had. Yeah. It.
You guys have to tell me which one.
Go right there with
this one.
To the right, all the way to the right.
This one.
Click it real quick. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
I thought it was really funny.
MBPP on Angelo.
MBPP? Bro, this guy tries so hard in these videos to act like he's never heard what these drugs are that are so common now that even like the average gym goer would know what Deca and Clen is. This guy's like, what's Clen? What's testosterone? Look at him, man. He knows exactly what all those
he
things
listens
are.
to the podcast, though.
Yeah, that's great.
What's Deca? What's Tran? What's testosterone?
We gotta lean into that harder. It's like a needle. Excuse me. Can you
like wait? Where
for the natural listeners? Can you describe a syringe for us?
I didn't know what MBPP was. Like,
a lot of listeners are probably natural like myself. So could you go back a couple steps and explain all this?
Oh man, that was good.
That was incredible.
Amazing.
Oh,
and the way he put himself in the frame as Kenny, like if you notice, he cut his shoulder off so that he looked like he was.
Yeah.
That was creative. That was creative.
He spent a lot of time on that post.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Mark, do you think it's important that people know? Because like he was saying that you know, the alpha GPC is 50%. He's like, so what they're doing is they're cutting it with some other stuff. Now, two things real quick. Natural pure alpha GPC is just like really hard to find, and it's very expensive. So I would imagine, you know, this all factors into why he put, you know, the 50%. But the way the way Eugene puts it, it almost seems like Derek is out there cutting this shit by himself and putting it in there. That's not the case. And I'm curious if you think people understand that like all this comes from outside sources and then gets put into a supplement. Like it's not, you know, his scientifically based thing.
Right.
It's like you went to a warehouse and you told the guy, hey, put this much in here because that's what the company wanted inside this drink.
Yeah. Everyone has like a manufacturer. It's really rare that somebody is their own manufacturer. And even if you were a manufacturer, you're probably not going to actually make the potassium sorbate that's in your in your supplement. I mean, it's still got to come from, you still have to source it from somewhere. So even the companies that piecemeal stuff together for you and put it in a canister and slap your logo on it, they're even getting it from somewhere else too. And when it comes to a lot of stuff, I mean, people, because of the stigma of where a supplement comes from, or because of a stigma of a particular country, people would be like, I don't want that in my product. Like, I don't want, grass-fed whey from China, but I'll take it from New Zealand, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, this is.
Can't have that Chinese whey in my fucking protein.
It doesn't necessarily make any sense. But it's just like, it's where we're at. And so these things are going to come from certain spots. There's even people will pay for trademarks and things like that. Like rather than just having regular creatine in their product, they might have Creapure, which is a formula. Rather than just having magnesium threonate, somebody might use Magtine, which is not trademarked, but patented like formula that I don't know how more effective it is than the other ones, but it's a perception. And so if you're like, oh, that has that in there, you know, even with my own company, I'm going to put Bubs, MCT oil powder, and collagen in there because I think it's a reputable brand. and they have great products. And I'm like, this will give my supplement brand more clout. So why wouldn't I do it? So there's a lot of things like that where you're just trying to make a decision that is improving your product to the best of your ability. And then you're going to be conscious of cost, because, you know, a lot of people, like, not for myself, but a lot of people, when they do start a supplement brand, they usually have like investors, because it can be really expensive. And if you start talking to your investors, you're like, yeah, I got this product and I got this product. And they're like, well, why does this intra workout product, why does it cost us $70? You're like, because it's the best. It has everything in there. It's got all the stuff in there. You recover from your workouts. It's amazing.
They don't give a fuck.
And they'll be like, but the pre-workout only costs us $7 and we can sell it for $50. This intra workout fucking thing that's $70, we can't even, like, could you sell it for $140? You're like, no. Like, okay, dude, then you need to like wait to come out with that other product, or you need to like reformulate it or something, because that thing's a piece of shit and we won't be able to make money off it.
Incredible.
Those are the kind of things that happen.
Yeah. Dang. All right, here we go.
I'm not going to bore you by going through this process with each ingredient here, because at some point I want you to learn to fish for yourself, or watch Derek's video and do your own follow-up fact-checking on the research he presents. You can see just how deep this stuff can really get, and why most people are going to be like, you know what, screw it. I'm happy to be led by placebo, marketing hype, and influencers. And that is completely fair enough. But that's the point I want you to consider. Businesses have to focus on their bottom line. They can get there by providing an excellent product, or they can get there by providing a misleading and mediocre product, but glam it up with marketing hype and a facade of misleading evidence and authority. Derek has done a great job in sales of presenting his reasonings and research breakdowns. I don't believe he's trying to mislead anybody, and does his absolute best to create a fantastic product. And I'm sure he would also be the first to say, don't take his word for it blindly, and learn to look further into the research yourself to make your own judgment call. If you are consuming this stuff, then I imagine you care even just a little bit about improving and optimizing your life. And part of that will also come from doing the work to be able to think for yourself and improve your understanding on what you're doing. So let's cut to the chase. Do I recommend this new drink? I could argue that some of these ingredients may be better dosed in slightly higher amounts, but Derek is also likely keeping in mind taste and solubility in making not just a beverage, but a carbonated beverage, where it definitely is tougher to just jam in more ingredients, even if you wanted to. I personally wouldn't use this, because I'd rather source the individual ingredients myself and create my own stack. I did a quick search on iHerb without even trying to budget, and I wound up roughly $1 to $1.50 cheaper per serve when sourcing the raw ingredients at a retail price. This also lets me adjust the stack to my needs. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, would rather enjoy a coffee on occasion and go a lower dose of supplemental caffeine, or use no caffeine at all. And I can't do that with the drink. I also can't experiment with adding in or reducing the doses of different ingredients to test how I react to each one in isolation. But really, it doesn't matter what I recommend or not, because I am not you. For many of you, this may be a great product. I can only present to you the facts, or give you the ability to find the facts for yourself, and leave it up to you to make your own decision. So
I thought it was great. I think that's like almost like what any great teacher, mentor, parent would do with their child, or anybody that's trying to show people the way, sort of. You would say, you know, here's a bunch of options. Here's what I think. You present the information as best you can, and you say, well, now it's up to you to make your decision. You know, you like Derek, you like his products, you dig what he has going on, and you try the product and you enjoy it, and fucking keep going for it.
Yeah. You know, this is one thing though where I do think like getting blood work done is super beneficial, because examine.com is such a great resource. There are so many supplements there that you can see actually do have benefit or actually are good for you. But you know, some of the stuff that Dr. Hotchkiss told me to try to take, I wouldn't have thought of using P5P for my free test. You know what I mean? I would have thought of using some of the things, but because number one, I wouldn't have known. Number two, like analyzing my blood work, that's not my profession, right? So if you're someone who's really trying to optimize things, utilizing supplementation, because again, Merrick doesn't just throw you on hormones, you can get your blood work done and get it analyzed and see what supplements will actually move the needle for me, rather than throwing the whole kitchen sink at yourself and trying to see if something moves, right? That, and then also there's Andy has that nootropics book on the website now, but that's why getting some help with this can be beneficial, because you might spend a lot of money on supplements that are actually proven to do something, but in your case, it's actually not necessary.
And I would agree that like sourcing stuff on your own is probably like almost more effective. It's just, you have to be more nerdy about it. You got to be more diligent. You're like, I got to take this alpha GPC pill and this B vitamin and this thing. So that's what people are trying to do. They're trying to bring you something that is pushing everything together. Like there's plenty of products that have Tonkat Ali, and what's the other?
Fadogia agrestis.
There you go. That have both of those in combination in a product, and then it will also have maybe B vitamins and other things that they think could potentially, maybe it's got boron in it, which is supposed to help increase your free testosterone. So that's usually what people are trying to do. But then again, sometimes in your efforts to do that, what actually ends up in the product sometimes isn't like always the most optimal.
Yeah, and like I was pointing out earlier, so thinking back to the original formula of Alpha Brain, everybody loved it, and all of a sudden they had to reformulate it because the manufacturer that was actually putting the powder in the capsules was using like the same bins that they were using for like modafinil or something like that, like an actual like drug.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, it's just a nootropic, and people were like, dude, I feel fucking awesome. And they're like, oh, we got to reformulate the formula.
You were using fucking modafinil.
Yeah, something like that. Sorry if I like Adderall, but something like that was like, bing, like this works. And then all of a sudden, oh man, it doesn't feel as good anymore. It's like, oh, what happened? It's like they had to clean up the manufacturer. So it's like, oh, that's crazy. So again, you don't even know. You can put your best foot forward and assume that like everyone's putting the highest quality ingredients, but like they're not there. They're not there watching somebody put the shit in the capsules and stuff. So
I guess that's why like some of these people that get sponsored by companies will have the video of them walking through the fucking warehouse and looking at the fucking beakers and shit. I don't know.
It's all fake.
Yeah, it's probably not their warehouse.
No, probably not.
There are, sometimes they'll say this facility is like FDA approved or something like that. That just means someone came in there and like made sure there's not like a bunch of rats everywhere, but it doesn't validate the supplements any further. The supplements do not get checked by the FDA. Yeah, the supplement industry, they're going to try to get you to purchase their product. So they're going to overhype it. It's going to underdeliver in terms of a lot of times underdeliver in terms of what it actually has in it, because again, it just can be cost prohibitive. It can be really hard to, source that many ingredients. Sometimes the ingredients themselves are just hard to source over and over again. And you think about how many supplement companies there are, how many people are utilizing like caffeine as an example, just take caffeine, just take that one thing. How much different caffeine is getting spread, throughout the world. That's not just even coffee, but that's in energy drinks. And it's like Monster or some of these big ass companies, like if they really wanted to, they could probably just buy all of it. And then no one else has, energy drinks anymore, So it's not as easy as you would think. It's not as simple as like, this guy's lying to me, his products, his product used to have this in it. Now it has that in it. And that's not always like just because you're trying to fuck somebody over, you're getting screwed over. You can't get that same ingredient anymore. Like, man, I really love having that B vitamin in there. But then you get a call and they're like, we don't know when it's coming back. And you're like, what? What the fuck am I going to do now?
Yeah.
You had a specific formula, you had a specific, way of advertising it. And I'll just end on this. But it doesn't help you at all if you are somebody who claims that your stuff is tested. So I could even say like, oh, it's third party, but like, is anyone going to really believe me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how you'd go about doing that. So there's not, as far as I know, there's not a supplement company that does anything like that. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a couple that do that. But there's a reason why nobody does it. It's because it's a waste of time. You're better off hitting the streets as hard as you can, telling people about the product that you have so they're aware of it, and telling them what it can do for them. Because ultimately, that's what the consumer cares about. What does it cost? Where do I get it? What's it going to do for me?
But this company says that their ingredients are scientifically backed.
Right.
So what does that mean?
It doesn't usually mean a whole lot. Usually it means that the items in your product were tested at some time in some sort of test. Like we'll just take like amino acids as an example. So branch chain, essential amino acids, things like that. People will say these are scientifically tested. These are scientifically proven. And yes, that might be true that some of those amino acids have been tested, but it's not the same amino acids that are being utilized in the product. It was something that was tested long ago. So there's all kinds of little shady things that people do that are like that. But thanks for pointing this video on, Nsima. I think it's dope.
Yeah. It was good. Eugene, awesome job on the video, man. And for, as far as supplements are concerned, it's like supplements can definitely be useful. They can definitely be helpful, but don't try to use supplements as something that's going to take the place of your good nutrition, good sleep habits. Like most people try to use caffeine to mask bad sleep habits, right? So just try to dial in the habits that we fucking talk about all the time, because that's going to move the needle way farther than adding most any supplement to your lifestyle.
Take us on out here, Andrew.
Absolutely. Just quickly point out that one of my favorite things still to this day is to walk into a supplement store and check out just about every freaking supplement they have, regardless of what I believe that works or doesn't work. It is still so much fun for me. So anyways, thank you everybody for checking out today's episode. Please let us know what you guys think about this conversation. Like Nsima asked, let us know what your guys' supplement stack is in the comments below, and then hit that like button and subscribe. Follow the podcast at MB Power Project all over the place. My Instagram is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima, where you at?
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Hit up the Discord for our next Q&A. You guys probably saw we're doing giveaways during some of our Q&As. So hit up the Discord, ask for questions for the next Q&A. Mark, where can people find you?
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.